So good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. We're going to start the meeting right at 6 o'clock, and we're going to start with the land acknowledgement of traditional territories, and Tara Lynn is going to do that for us tonight.
Thank you. Simcoe County District School Board acknowledges that we are situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabeg people. The Anishinaabeg include the Ojibwe, Odawa, and the Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people.
Thank you. Okay, so the mandate of the PIC is to support, encourage, and enhance parent engagement at the board level to improve student achievement and well-being, provide information and advice to the board on parent engagement, communicate with and support school councils, and undertake activities to help parents support their children's learning at home and at school. So with regrets from Chairperson Wilson, I will assume the chair for the evening. With that, a vice chair will need to be elected on a pro-term basis for tonight's meeting. I will now call for nominations for the office of vice chairperson for the Parent Involvement Committee for the evening. A nominator and a secondary will be required. Will somebody want to nominate somebody else? Somebody want to volunteer themselves?
I can volunteer myself. That's Catherine speaking. So.
Okay, thank you, Catherine.
I'll second that, Sydney.
Okay. And Catherine, I guess you accept the nomination because you nominated yourself. So, and then we have a mover, and then we need I guess, a seconder.
Yeah, I'll second, Sydney.
Thank you so much. That's carried. Thank you. And now we will continue with the agenda for the evening. We have to approve the agenda at this time. So I am looking for a motion that the agenda be approved as printed. Can I need a motion to approve as well and a seconder? So Fatima will be the first one. And Natricia. Thanks, Natricia. Thank you, Fatima. So the motion to approve the agenda has been carried. With the minutes being approved virtually, we can move on to presenters. And I don't think I introduced myself, but I think most of you guys know who I am. I'm Carla, the vice chair for the PIC committee. And like I said, Melissa had her regrets tonight, so I am chairing the meeting. All right, so we're going to go with our presenters now, and I would like you to join me in welcoming Director Stevens to say a few words.
Thank you so much, and through you, the chair of the PIC committee, thank you for allowing me to be on the agenda this evening. I managed to turn on my dishwasher about 5 minutes ago. I don't know what I was thinking, but I hope it's not too loud in the background right now. It's distracting me like crazy, but it's wonderful to be here this evening to speak to PIC, and I'm actually coming with a little bit of a request or an ask of this committee as I move forward in my just coming close to the end of my first year as Director of Education with the Simcoe County District School Board. So as part of the new Ministry of Education Director Performance Appraisal process, school board trustees are required to collect feedback through consultation with a variety of raters, including staff, union representative, committee members, and community partners. In compliance with ministry requirements, the Simcoe County District School Board has hired an external company, Stratford Group, to lead the performance review process. Stratford Group will be delivering an easy-to-use online 360 feedback survey appraisal process that will launch in the second week of February, which will enable analysis for the purpose of gathering broad feedback on the director's performance relative to the goals set out and in support of the identification of opportunities for development. So I will be attending various board committee meetings over the next couple of months to provide individuals with some background information regarding the process and to extend an invitation for you to participate in this initiative. The objective of the survey is to gather insights on area of high performance as well as opportunity for continued growth and development. We value your input as we work towards the goals outlined in the SCDSB strategic plan. And this plan serves as our roadmap, guiding our decisions, shaping our programs, and the goals we aim to achieve. So some of the next steps of the process will be during the last week of January, communication will be sent to the committee members via the committee member email distribution, reminding you of the survey. And then a few days prior to the launch, committee members will receive an email with information from Stratford Group regarding the survey questions, details, and other relevant information. And the date of the survey launch, you will receive an email with a link to complete the survey. And the survey takes less than 15 minutes to complete. Your anonymity in this process is assured as all rater responses are pooled and presented in a summarized group, which is only available to Stratford Group. So your feedback is crucial in helping me continue to improve and serve our SCDSB community. And I thank you for your consideration and time. So I'm coming a little bit early because I am trying to get to all the committees before February, but I'll be back, or Susan will be back to remind you of your your availability and to participate. It is optional. You don't have to participate, but it is really seeking sort of broad system perspectives on how you feel the board is doing in reaching its goals. So it does, like I say, give you an opportunity to have a voice, and you will, like I said, have anonymity throughout the process. It is something to just sort of gather more feedback on the work of the board as you are providing it here through PIC in all of your work that you do here as well. So I thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any, and it looks like I have one. So go ahead, please, Sydney.
Hi, thank you. I'm just wondering, is this something that just the PIC committee is going to answer, or should we be sharing this with our school councils as well?
So it's not just the PIC committee, it's other committees of the board as well, and as well as other community groups, staff. So it's a broader voice of individuals, but PIC is one of the groups.
All right. Well, thank you, Director Stevens. That's amazing. I always love surveys because they do give great feedback for people to know what's working and what needs some work, right? So it's amazing to have that. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
And I would also like to acknowledge that Brandy Rafiq, former PIC chairperson and current chairperson of the board, is here to observe our meeting and will say a few words during the trustee update. Welcome and thank you for coming. All right. So our next topic is math kits. So please help me in welcoming Kristen Fennell, Superintendent of Education, in her 20th year with the Simcoe County District School Board. Kristen is a superintendent of education who serves 13 elementary and 2 secondary schools in the Barrie area, and her portfolio includes mathematics, artificial intelligence, and science. As the board math lead, Kristen is responsible for the development, implementation, and monitoring of the Achievement Action Plan. And John Novakovic, sorry if I butchered that. John is a district math facilitator for grades 4 through 12 with the Simcoe County District School Board. He supports all aspects of the Math Achievement Action Plan, from developing classroom resources to monitoring student achievement, alongside his K-9 partner, Kit Luce. John designs and facilitates professional learning for school leaders and educators through both system-wide and school-based opportunities. He also supports the Math at Home resource for families and works closely with parents to help them engage in math with their children.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Chair Palazzo. You may see that John, who is on screen with me, on my screen, it looks like a white box. He's been having some difficulty with his video. So if you don't see him, I hope that we will have his audio, because he is going to share in this presentation with me this evening. But if all of a sudden we can't hear him, then I will just go ahead.
Oh, I think I'm okay, Kristen, if you can hear me.
Perfect. Yes, we
All
can.
right.
Okay, so we appreciate the opportunity to share with you this evening about the many ways in which the SCDSB is supporting student learning in math, and also how the Parent Involvement Committee can support the engagement of families in math with their children. Our math team consists of a superintendent, a principal, 2 district math facilitators, and 10 school-based math facilitators. We want to ensure that every child has the supports they need to be successful in math, and that starts with supporting the people who teach them. At the system level, we host math learning sessions for educators throughout the year. These happen 3 times a year for elementary educators and twice each semester with secondary teachers. It's a chance to share ideas and learn evidence-based instructional and assessment strategies. This year, principals are also taking part in something called responsive instruction cycles, using a tool called Knowledge Hook. This helps them to support teachers and ensure that math instruction is responsive to the strengths and needs of students in each classroom. Another important way that we support students is by creating resources for teachers. These include lessons and activities for the classroom, as well as assessment tools that help teachers to understand what students know and where they may need some extra support. We also share a monthly news update with educators, highlighting new resources and learning opportunities. For families, we keep our Math at Home website updated with new problems, games, and number talks every month.
At the school level, we work closely with principals and teachers to make sure students receive high-quality math instruction. Teachers regularly check in with students and adjust their instruction so that every child can access and succeed in math. So school leaders like principals and vice principals support this work in a couple of ways. First, through unit check-ins, which are short tasks that show what students understand and what they need next. And second, through Knowledge Hook, which is a digital tool that gives teachers helpful data to guide instruction. Principals also help teachers stay on track with the curriculum, so all the important math content is covered during the year. We also support schools in gathering feedback from students about how they feel about math, and this helps us make a more positive and engaging experience. And finally, our math team creates Math Bites, which are short 10-minute activities for staff meetings that connect directly to classroom learning. The most important learning happens every day in the classroom, and our math team works closely with teachers to provide resources for instruction and assessment that support student learning. And we're committed to helping every student succeed by making sure that math is accessible and meaningful for all learners. And you'll see this through strategies such as parallel tasks, which let students work on the same concept but at different levels of challenge. Through small group instruction, where teachers give focused support on specific skills. Through different concrete tools and visual models, which help students understand those abstract math ideas. And finally, we use Knowledge Hook in the classroom to gather helpful information about student progress. And this allows teachers to plan next steps for instruction. And our goal is to create engaging, accessible, and challenging math experiences for every student. This year, we're continuing several initiatives to help families engage in math with their children. We share new content every month on the Math at Home page on the SCDSB public website. And when you visit, you'll find monthly math moments that include a problem, a game, and a number talk connected to concepts being taught in classrooms. Like we've mentioned earlier, we've renewed our license for Knowledge Hook, which again is a digital math tool that gives students opportunities to practice math at home in a fun and interactive way. So last year, our math team partnered with 2 schools to host family math nights at Arda Bluffs Public School in Barrie and Chris Hadfield Public School in Bradford, with about 240 attendees between the 2 events. And the success of these events inspired many other schools to host their own family math nights. And our math team supported these efforts by sharing activity ideas and helping schools set up engaging math centers. Schools purchase at-home math kits using school funds and parents reaching out grants to make these events possible. And our communications team created a short video highlighting the family math night we hosted at Arda Bluffs Public School. And it's a great way to see families engaging in math together and the kinds of activities we offer at these events.
There's no sound.
Unfortunately, we can't hear.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if we back it up to the beginning and start again at may play.
Welcome to Arda Bluffs Public School. My name is Jennifer Robinson and I'm principal here. Tonight we're excited to be hosting a family math night. The math night is engaging schools from across our entire area of schools, and families are coming together with educators and staff to engage in math activities that are hands-on and curriculum related. We are excited to have 10 activity centers. They are being facilitated by both board staff and school staff. The learning centers are applicable to multiple grade levels and gives them ideas of how to support their learning at home.
My kids and I decided to come to Family Math Night tonight to check it out, see what it's all about, just finding different ways to get them to learn. We think that these could really help engage them more at home.
I decided to attend the family math night tonight because my two boys love numbers. They're always playing challenging games. They love playing number games, cards, so we were looking for new ways to explore math at home.
My favorite activity was the carving.
Tonight we are really excited to be able to provide families with math kits. This is brought to families through PIC, the Parent Involvement Committee. They include all kinds of things, cards, there's tangrams, and a variety of games that they can engage in math activities with students anywhere from pre-kindergarten to grade 8. We really hope that families will leave with some tools and resources and strategies and ideas for how to engage in math conversation and activities with their children at home.
I can't wait to play these math games when we get home.
Visit the Math at Home page on the SCDSB website to find fun, engaging resources to support your child's learning at home.
Thank you for your patience with that video. So feedback from our families was overwhelmingly positive. When asked if they were satisfied with the resources provided during the event to support their child's learning in math, 100% of respondents said yes. Regarding the SCDSB Math at Home website and those resources, 64% expressed satisfaction, while the remaining 36% indicated that they hadn't had an opportunity yet to visit the site and explore those resources. Comments from families highlighted the value of the events, describing them as well organized, engaging, and filled with practical, easy-to-use resources. Many appreciated the hands-on games and take-home materials, noting how the events showcased the fun and accessibility of math learning at home. So this evening, we are excited to share that we're planning 3 family math nights in February in Collingwood, Midland, and Orillia. Families who attend the Family Math Night will receive a math kit and interact with a number of these game-based centers. And the math kits will include hands-on manipulatives, including, again, the playing cards, dice, measuring tape, tangrams, and colored tiles. Each kit will include instructions for the games and activities that were shared at the Math Night, as well as games and problems found on the Math at Home page. We have selected resources that we think will support both initiatives and are also affordable for schools if they choose to host their own math nights. We would also like to share that we are providing schools with planned resources to host their own events. schools may consider applying for the Parent Reaching Out grant to fund the kits for their own family math nights. This evening, we're seeking your support to purchase these math kits for our in-person family math nights in Collingwood, Orillia, and Midland. The math kits are $10 each, and we would like to request $3,000, which would allow us to provide the math kits for the families at all 3 locations. Your contribution would directly enhance hands-on learning opportunities across our SCDSB communities and would absolutely be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions or comments for either John or Kristen? I have a question. Why are we choosing those 3 locations for the event in February?
Thank you, and to you, Chair Peloso, and also to the table. So a couple of things. We wanted to get into areas where we hadn't been. So we were down in Bradford and we were here in Barrie. So we wanted to diversify to new locations because we were hoping over the 2 years' time to be able to get into most of our areas. Schools that were selected to host, we had to do a few things. We had to find out about their permits. So, what did they have for availability in the evenings? What does parking look like at the school? Is the gym a good size to be able to host a big group? Might they have some staff that are also willing to support? So in those evenings, we've had really good success. Our math team goes out in those evenings, but also we've had staff at the school. We've had teachers, DECEs, EAs, student teachers, administrators come out and support. So it's a wonderful opportunity for collaboration, and it is open for these locations are open for anyone in the SCDSB. So we found in Barrie last year, we had families that drove down from Midland just to participate, which was exciting. And they are open for anyone, but we do want to make sure we hit all of our main areas.
Thank you for answering that. Catherine, I think I saw your hand was up. I apologize. No? Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out today in your presentation. We appreciate it. And we hope you have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we are going to continue on with field trips and presentation portal. So please help me in welcoming Susanna Reed, Risk Officer, and Taryn Owen, Coordinator of Accounting School Funds. Susanna Reed has been with the board since 2014, serving in multiple roles, including elementary school SASE, executive assistant, and most recently as the corporate risk officer. In her current role, she oversees the board insurance coverage, manages claims and students and non-staff injury reporting, coordinates certificates of insurance requests, and is part of the team that developed the school events and activities app. Susanna continues to work with the schools to ensure events comply with board policies and procedures, prioritizing the safety of students, staff, and volunteers. She has also been actively involved with school councils, both as a parent and school staff, giving her a unique perspective and understanding of school council involvement and activities. Today, Susanna is here to answer any questions about the new school events and activities app. Taryn Owens has been with the board since 2007, serving in multiple roles, including school business assistant, budget coordinator, and now in the role of coordinator of accounts, school funds. In her current role, she oversees 3 budget coordinators that work directly with the schools to help with their fundraising initiatives and school cash online and school basic budget. She also ensures schools are following board policies and procedures and compliant with ministry guidelines. Today, Taryn is here to answer any questions about the new school events and activities app, in particular, fundraising plans. So welcome.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. If I can get a
Yes.
little perfect, amazing. Well, thank you so much for inviting us. I don't see Taryn on yet, so I will try to answer any specific fundraising questions, but I would like to show you some of the things that we have been able to accomplish with the new fundraising app. For the fundraising app, the fundraising app has been created for the schools to use and submit all of their school and after school events for review and approval by the principal and if needed by the superintendent as well. The purpose of the app was to increase compliance, efficiency, accessibility to all staff, transparency, error reduction, centralized data, consistency, and safety for students and staff. To date, we have approved over 600 field trip vendors, 700 presentation vendors, and over 700 fundraising vendors as well. As part of this app development, we have focused not only just on the events, but also on the vendors that we are trying to approve and review at a much faster pace than we were doing in the previous years. In terms of field trips and presentations that the schools have submitted so far, we have since September had over 3,500 events that have been submitted through the app, and those are events that happen during the school day. For after school events, we have 426, and for fundraisers, just so that you can see the numbers that are associated for PIC, over almost a 2,000 event, and that's of last week, so we're at over 2,000 right now, and that's 250 drafts. 111 were submitted and are just waiting to be approved. And as of beginning of September, we have approved over 1,500 fundraising events. Okay, I'm going to keep it super short because I know you guys have a lot of questions. So my last slide is just to let you know if you want to contact your councils as well. If there's any questions or any comments that you have about the app or anything to do with the app, your school administrator is your main contact. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to open up the floor to you because I'm sure you all have a lot of questions, especially with the vendor markets coming up and whatnot. Go ahead, Catherine.
I actually have a question specifically for field trips. A concern that I actually had come up from a teacher today was in regards to being able to provide paper permission forms for their students in lieu of School Cash Online. And apparently it's a very, very complex and not very navigable system after putting everything through School Cash Online. And then having to try and draft a permission form outside of that for people who might need paper instead of School Cash Online.
Okay.
Is there an easy way to do that?
There actually is a really easy way. I would say the teacher may need a little bit more training, perhaps. Yep. One of the things that we tell the teachers when they're giving us questions, if they're finding that something's a little harder or maybe taking a little longer, they may be overthinking it a little because it is a new app, right? And trying to train 8,000 staff, it does take a little while.
Absolutely.
The app has actually been created to assist the teachers. One of the feedbacks we were getting, and just to put things into perspective, we have been now working on this for over 2.5 years with a large team of people. We have worked with all the principals. Well, not all of them. We've had pilot schools last year for a year. We worked with principals, vice principal, office staff, teachers to help us create this app. We wanted to make sure that it works for everybody. One of the things that the app gives the staff is when they submit an event, it tells them which consent forms are required. We've heard before that it was really hard for them to navigate the APM to tell them to try and figure out which consent forms are required. So when an event is submitted and approved, there's a summary page that tells them exactly which forms have to be attached to School Cash Online and also which forms need to be printed. For the teachers, we have created a page on the staff SharePoint site that actually has the consent form listed to match exactly the title that's on the summary page. And all they have to attach it as a PDF.
Okay, perfect.
So it shouldn't be hard. So they might just not know about the page.
Okay, so if the teacher goes to the staff SharePoint, it'll tell them what consent form they need and they can print it out from there.
Yeah.
And not okay. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you.
We try.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
I have a question. So my question is there any way for school council chairs to have access to that list? Because a lot of the time we have an idea or something like that, and then it has to go through administrator to be able to figure out if that's even on the vendor list. And so it's like an additional step. Whereas if we knew right away this vendor's not, approved, then it kind of like, just cut it there and then go on to our next idea or etc.
There is a way for schools to run the list. We've added it in the instructions where they can actually run a list and export it to like either a PDF or an Excel, and then they can give you access. So yeah, you have access. You won't have access to the app itself, but there is a way for the school office to be able to provide you with the list. Okay. Go ahead, Catherine.
Sorry, I have a follow-up question to that because that was something else. This might not be a you question, this might be a tech question, which, Susan, is it possible for the chair at simcoecounty.on.ca email to have access to parts of SharePoint? So the same way that like employees sign in with their SCDSB email, a chair could do the same thing and run even just that portion of the list so that there doesn't have to be that extra step in trying to get it into an Excel spreadsheet and trying to read all of the information that comes with that list on an Excel, which is really full.
Yeah, if you're okay with it, we could take this outside of this meeting. Superintendent Sidlovsky, we have a team meetings that we do every second week. We can discuss a way that we can maybe make the list accessible. I'm not sure if it will be possible or not, so I'm not going to promise, but we can definitely look into something that could be available. But like I said, I'm not going to be able to promise it because it is tied to our HR system, but it is something we can take a look at.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
And just so that you know, for the fundraising and field trips vendors, we do have 2 separate committees that review the vendors. So I'm sure you've noticed that there's 2 different applications. We are working on updating the fundraising application as we speak. We just tested a portion of it this week, so hopefully we'll have it ready very, very soon. Okay, because right now it's PDFs that are filled out.
Got it. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay, well then, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for coming out tonight, and we appreciate you, and have a good evening.
You too.
All right, so now we are going to look at some items for decisions. So we're going to talk about the math kits that were just presented by Kristen Fennell and Jason. So the Simcoe County District School Board District Math Team is requesting funds to support the creation of the math kits for families who are participating in the Mathematics at Home Learning Series. We learned about this evening. They are requesting $3,500 to assist with the math kits. So it's something we have to vote on if we want to do. And if we do, can I have a yes, I think it was a great presentation. It did really well last year, so I don't see why not. But of course, everybody, I'm happy to hear. Yeah, go for it, Catherine.
I'm just wondering, on the back end of this event going in February, is it possible to survey attendees who received these math kits maybe 6 months after to see if they're still using them? So that going forward, if a request for more math kits comes in, we have some data to refer back to of whether it was actually a good investment. Getting free stuff in the moment is always really fun. But if it's something that gets shoved in like a junk drawer and forgotten about, and we're not actually using it going forward, is it really a good allocation of our funds?
Yeah, that's a great question. We can definitely bring it back to the team. I think for next year, if we decide to do it this year, then they can keep a list of attendees, like you said, or anybody that registers, and then survey them, maybe in the summer and see if they're using them, because that's a great point. Anybody else? Okay, so can we have somebody to move the motion to approve the $3,500 for the math kits? Okay, thank you, Fatima. And can I get a seconder? Catherine, thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay, so our next discussion will be Connections 2.0. As you guys know, we had Connections October, I think it was the end of October, and it went really well. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but we want to have Connections 2.0 this year. We're thinking sometime, I think it's in April, and we need ideas from the committee to on speakers and topics of discussion. So if you guys have any now, then please feel free to tell me and share with everybody. But if you don't, we are going to have a informal kind of meeting in December 9th, and you can bring them back then. So it's up to you. If you have something now, it's great. If you don't, you can kind of circle back with ideas. Catherine?
I would apologize for talking a lot, but I'm not sorry.
No, it's great. It's great to have engagement. So thank you.
One of the feedback things that I heard from Connections was that the breakout room time was really short, and the people who I spoke to felt like it could be done maybe differently than in person. If maybe there was like a virtual option where we had like a just for the chairs to be able to access a virtual like connections night, to have a little bit more time with the speakers to get into the topics a little more. So it was too short, I guess, which is difficult. I understand with permits at schools and people and organizing all of that. So like that's why I said maybe like an add-on to 2.0 of like a virtual breakout room. So we could do kind of a two-part is an idea.
Okay. I like that. That was one of the feedback that I got as well from people that attended from my schools. And one of the suggestions we had was to maybe make it less topics. So, you know, we had multiple topics and break it down and maybe see which ones were most attended and kind of focus on, so you can have longer periods versus because there were so many, you had to choose. So that's also an option that we can talk and discuss, of course. Anybody else? Yeah, Sydney?
Another thing, I know that I've been to two now over the last 2 years, and the first year I remember meeting, I wasn't on PIC, but I remember meeting with the PIC representative. And then this year, I think like that was an option at the end, but I think it didn't happen. And I just feel like sometimes for a council chair to have the opportunity to be able to meet that person and kind of discuss it. Sorry, Susan, go ahead.
No, that's okay. And I don't mean to interrupt, but we do have another presenter.
Yes.
So
sorry.
we're going to move on. But Sydney, absolutely great point. We're going to get into all of that in the lower portion of our agenda.
Okay, so right now, I guess we just need to vote that the Parent Involvement Committee hosts another Connections 2.0 event on April 28th, 2026, and spends up to $3,500 on the event. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Okay, Sydney and Fatima is who I saw. Thank you so much. We'll get more into it later, like Suzanne said. All right, so we have item D now. So this is mental health and well-being updates. Mental health and well-being will be a standing item on our agenda moving forward. Please bring any questions to our meetings, or we will have someone from the mental health and well-being department. Please welcome Dawn Franks, the Simcoe County District School Board mental health leader, speaking to healthy choices, substance use and digital safety modules for grade 6.
Good evening, everyone. Through the chair to the committee, I'm happy to be joining tonight to share a mental health and well-being update. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Can everybody see it? And it's the full view? Okay, perfect. Okay, so just as a reminder, School Mental Health Ontario, you'll see in the logo, is funded by the Ministry of Education. It's an implementation support funded by the Ministry of Education to provide quality resources to school boards across the province of Ontario. And School Mental Health Ontario, funded by the ministry, has recently released, and these are like hot off the press in the sense of in the last couple of weeks, a couple of modules for grade 6 learning, and it's coined Healthy Choices, Substance Use, and Digital Safety modules for grade 6 students. We have, over the past couple of years, funded by the Ministry of Education, had modules related to mental health learning in grade 7 and 8, as well as in grade 10 related to the careers course, and those are mandatory modules. And I'll get into these modules, very brief high-level overview in regards to their intention. Okay, so there are two 60-minute lesson plans from the Ministry of Education about digital safety, and the other one is on substance use health. And as there's increasing rates of substance use from grade 7 to 12, by focusing on the learning in grade 6, it's a great opportunity to have discussions and early learning when students are facing increasing opportunities to engage with digital media and substances at an earlier age. The modules themselves, unlike the grade 7, 8, and grade 10 modules, which are mandated to be delivered as the modules themselves, these modules are not mandated, but are considered ready-made resources that support the delivery of existing curriculum expectations. A lot of thought has went into the development of them, so the modules are non-judgmental in the sense that something is not all bad or all good. We know that students are faced with many choices and difficult situations. They're student-centered and offer students an opportunity to look at what they know and build on existing knowledge. The hope is that educators will see value in them and that it will support consistency and evidence-based learning for every grade 6 student, not only across the district, but across the province. So each module has an educator guide to support content delivery and a parent sheet that can be sent home to extend the learning and the understanding. In terms of the digital media, safe and healthy personal choices, the learning goals are on the screen to identify practices that can help us safely navigate and positively contribute to online environments, describe positive digital media habits that protect our privacy and support the well-being of ourselves and others, and engage in informed and healthy digital media choices that work best for each of us. They connect to the curriculum expectations in language as well as health and physical education. And here's just an example of, or just the structure of the lesson plan. Each lesson plan has a minds on, which is understanding key terms, an action, and then a consolidation. In terms of the substance use module, addictions and related behaviors, the learning goals again are on the screen. Explore the range of effects associated with various substances, including cannabis, vapor, and tobacco products and alcohol. Identify factors that can influence our decisions about substance use. Analyze and practice decision-making skills and refusal strategies to identify those that work best for each of us. And again, curriculum expectations that they connect to are within the health and physical education curriculum. And once again, here's a structure of the lesson plan in terms of a mind on of exploring the facts, an action, activity, building a shared understanding, and then consolidation that supports making informed choices. So what else is included in the modules? There are extension activities. The intention of them is really not for it to be a one and done. There's lots of great resources through School Mental Health Ontario and other resources that educators are using. But they've also provided a guide in terms of ideas for extension activities, choice of assessment tools, and then as well as educator guides with background information to support planning and understanding. Right now, what we're convening within the school board is just some central planning and implementation. As mentioned, the modules are not mandated to be delivered, but meant to support curriculum expectations. So we do need to bring awareness to our educators in grade 6, as well as awareness for parents, guardians of the modules and literacy resources. And this will be done in collaboration with our public health partners, as well as with student achievement and other central departments such as Indigenous education and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Right now, we have an in-school year funding grant from the Ministry of Education that is to support emerging needs such as digital safety and awareness on substance use. So we are using that money to provide some professional development for one grade 6 teacher from every school in early February to support them in doing a deeper dive into the resources, understanding implementation, supporting them in planning and bringing content and awareness back to the other physical health and education teachers in grade 6 and language teachers in grade 6 at their school. And we're targeting implementation of use of the modules in term 2. If you're interested in knowing more or want to yourself have a look into the resources, if you just go on to Google and key in School Mental Health Ontario, and once you're into School Mental Health Ontario, you can just put into their search engine grade 6 Healthy Choices modules, and it will bring up a suite of resources. And from looking at the resources rather quickly just today, it looks to be a very similar offering to what we've been provided for our educators in our system. So it looks like they've made public facing what is intended for implementation support for our teachers and our schools. If anybody has any questions, I'm welcome to answer any, but I've also put my contact information on the screen if in the future you want to reach out.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I do. My son is in grade 6, so this hits right at home for me. Now, my son is in the learning center. So, are the courses or the modules that they're going to be doing accessible to kids that have learning difficulties? I know some of his friends that cannot read at a grade 6 level. My son cannot read at a grade 6 level. So, will that be like accessible to all kids, I guess is the right question.
Thank you. That's a great question. So when we've received resources in the past, they haven't necessarily been accessible, which has been feedback that has been shared back to the ministry. So part of our implementation planning is to convene a central planning table, if you will, which will include special education. And what we have done in the past for some resources is where we're able, we have augmented those resources to make them accessible.
Okay, thank you. Just something to keep in mind, I guess, for future. Yeah, like even if something that could read to them, right? Like they can hear it, the module, and also the language that's being used, not be so, be more just not so complicated, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But yeah, thank you so much for that. Does anybody else have any questions? So thank you so much, and have yourself a good evening.
Thank you for that, and thank you for the feedback. I will make note of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So now we are going to go back to the PIC member updates. So we're back to talk about connections. This is where we'll talk about it. So the stats. So we had a really good turnout. I don't know if everybody went, but it was a really good turnout. It was a really good night. We had over 150 individuals who actually signed in, but we had about almost 200 people. And the reason we know that is because of the bags that Kim um, filled up and had. They basically went, and there was 200 and they were gone basically. I think 4 or 5 were left, which means people brought people, which is amazing, and it was a very well attended night and event. So we're pretty happy with that. And here's a quick summary of the results of the promotional campaigns for Connections. So on Instagram, over a 21-day promotional period, the ad was played 6,519 times with 3,169 total views. Of those views, 2,779 users engaged with the post, which means they liked it, they sent it to a friend, they shared it, or they clicked on it. On Facebook, over 21-day promotional period, the ad was played 9,018 times with 4,100 total views. The website link on this ad was clicked on 304 times. On Instagram Reels, it was viewed 18.1K, so 18.1 thousand times, which is amazing. And now to the informal meeting in December. We will be holding an informal December meeting in person at the Education Center in Midhurst on December 9th, 2025. Dinner will be included, and this meeting will be held to discuss roles and expectations of PIC members. So this is going to be a little bit, this is for us and our roles and expectations. If you have questions about your role, hopefully all of that kind of gets ironed out. We also want to start a subcommittee for the Connections 2.0. So if anybody wants to join that subcommittee, please email Kim. She will be happy to be to set that up, the committee. And are there any updates from PIC members or information from school council? School councils, your school councils.
This is also where if you have something to speak to for Connections, this is where we would.
Oh, going back, yes. Yeah. So if you have ideas for the speakers or topics that we should discuss at Connections 2.0, it's a good time.
I think Sydney, I cut her off last time, so.
Yeah, so go for it.
No, it's okay. I was just saying kind of that it's now that I realize I didn't know the December 9th meeting was specifically for this. So it's a lot, we can discuss it more then. It was just, yeah, just a bigger role, I guess, for the PIC versus just council members. But yeah, no, it's great. Thanks.
Awesome. Catherine?
I just had a question come from council regarding, and this might be beyond PIC, but the question was regarding creating the ability for families to e-transfer payment instead of school cash online, as sometimes I believe school cash online is just credit, right?
No. You can do your banking information, so it's kind of like a void check type of situation. You put your account number and that stuff. So that is an option. Yeah.
Okay. I did not know words. Banking information. Okay. I didn't know
It's
that we
called
could do that.
e-check. Is it called e-check? Somebody, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's called an e-check, but you can definitely do that as well, because there are some families who don't have credit card information.
Yeah.
And so they can just input their account number, and it accepts that as well. And schools still take cash. So if parents do have cash, you know, they can also go to the office and pay for whatever it is that they want to. So cash is still legal tender, and we are
Yes.
still obligated to take cash.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes it's just that availability. So I didn't know that the bank, the e-check was a thing. So that's good to be able to pass on. The other question that was brought up was, is there any plan or future plan or talks of being able to submit attendance information online from a parent? So instead of emailing or calling the safe arrival line, being able to go into like the parent portal and like hit a button that says they're not going to be here today. Is there a plan for that?
So Catherine, my other hat is IT. And I can share with you that we are working on something in the background. In the new year, in the beginning of January, we do have 6 schools that we intend to pilot this app, School Messenger app, and in that School Messenger app, parents can they can use the app to really record attendance. So it's one app that they use to, let's say you have 5 kids in 5 different schools, French immersion, gifted, regular, you know, whatever. It is possible to have that one app with the 5 names of your children and to click the attendance without actually emailing. So we are working on that. We will likely be piloting that sometime in January, hopefully, if all goes well and our software developers are good to go, that will happen.
That is so cool to know. Do you know which schools are going to be the pilot schools? And if yes, are you able to share the names of those schools?
Yes and no.
Okay. Thank you. That's so cool. Yay.
Okay, anybody else have anything, any topics or anything they want to share? Nope, we're good. Okay, so next is the board updates. So from the trustees. Before I ask Trustee Grumet and Trustee Connors to speak, Chairperson Rafiq, do you have any words for us?
Thank you so much, Chair. Yes, thank you so much for allowing me to join you this evening. As you mentioned at the beginning, I was a longtime PIC member as well and the chair for many years and a very, very long time school council chair. I think I was 8 years in elementary and I think I did 2 full rounds in secondary school as well. So I very much I'm very appreciative of all the work you all do within our schools. I know how important it is. And it brought me to the trustee role. So I wanted to come back here and speak to you tonight about, I wanted to know if you had all heard about Bill 33 that had just passed through our legislature. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about how that might affect our board. So if you have heard about it or haven't heard about it, I'll just give you kind of a simple overview on how it affected the Education Act. So when the bill passed, it did give the Minister of Education the ability to take over school boards for any reason he deems necessary. So previously, boards could only be taken over by the Minister of Education if our finances were in disarray. So we are required to pass a balanced budget every year. You know, provincial municipalities, everybody else can carry some debt sometimes, but school boards are not able to do that. We have to pass a balanced budget every year, which we do in the Simcoe County District School Board. We have always done. We are very fiscally conservative and very careful with our money here, and we've always been in good standing that way. So it was a little bit scary to us as trustees to see that that the minister could take over boards for other reasons, and it really is any reason that he deems necessary. So there have been 5 school boards taken over within Ontario before this change happened. So in that situation, we have seen a supervisor has been appointed to those boards, and the board of trustees has been removed. So as I'm sure you know from your trustees here, we have 12 elected trustees on on our board of trustees at the Simcoe County District School Board. So essentially, in other boards, that the trustees have been removed. They are no longer able to communicate with parents or committees or staff or anything, and they have been replaced by one supervisor. It's a little, my opinion on this, on one part of that is it's a little troubling to me, as trustees don't make a huge paycheck. Trustees, all of us together, make about $14,000 each. There's 12 of us. So these supervisors have come in and they are paid $350,000 for the year. So my math isn't wonderful. I'm sorry to Superintendent Muscat-Fennell. She would be disappointed in me, I'm sure. But I do know that all of us trustees make a lot less than those one supervisors. And so that is that's a bit troubling to me when I hear from the minister all the time that he wants to take this money from trustees that trustees have been utilizing and put it back into the classrooms and have it utilized for resources for teachers. So when I hear him say that, and then I see these supervisors being paid so much more than trustees are, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It also, our Board of Trustees have talked about this issue quite a bit. It also concerns us because we feel very strongly that we are an important local voice for our school board. Your trustees live and work and volunteer in your communities, and they are your voice at the board table. Like I said, I was a very long time school council chair. I volunteer in schools in every capacity for many, many years. And I volunteer in my community quite a bit. And it's very important to me to stay connected to my community and hear what their concerns are, and making sure that I am bringing that to my board and making sure that our local concerns are heard. So that's another reason the thought of eliminating trustees really worries me. So there's a lot of reasons, but those are a couple of them. So like I said, I did want to talk to this group about this for a couple of reasons. First of all, I wanted to make sure that you were aware of it. You know, it's not something that's in the regular news all the time. If you're not a trustee, you're probably not watching trustee news every day. That would make sense to me. But like I said, I do believe it greatly impacts our board. And so I did just want to make sure that you were aware of it. And then I did want to just allow you to ask any questions, if you had any questions that we might be able to answer for you on that, or even just making sure that you really understand the role of trustee, and if you have any questions surrounding that, just because that really comes into play with this whole discussion here. So before I go on, maybe I'll stop for a second and ask, does anyone have any questions along the way about the role of trustee or about Bill 33? Is there anything we could answer for you at this point? Okay, oh yes. Catherine, please go ahead.
I was trying to like wait a beat to see if anybody else had a question first. I have two questions. One is, what are some reasons outside of like financial reasons that a takeover could happen? And the second question is, how much notice would be given in that event?
So two great questions. And unfortunately, I don't think I have great answers for you. So it literally says in the Change in the Education Act that the minister can take over for any interest of any reason for public interest. And it really just says any reason that he deems necessary. So it could be absolutely anything. And there was no timeline outlined in the bill or anything like that. But I know in the school boards that were taken over before, there was no notice whatsoever. It was announced in the media and it happened immediately. In past governments, you know, a lot of times school boards were notified about things beforehand from the ministry. We would get a heads up to things that were going to happen. But now we generally find things out the same time everybody else does. Big announcements are made in the media, and that's how we learn about them too, unfortunately. So, does that answer your questions?
Yes, thank you very much.
I have a question. Okay, so they take over, they remove the trustees and the supervisor. Are they there to assess and like kind of review what's been happening? And is there like a time frame? Like, do they get like 6 months to review and then people can get reinstated? Or is this just, we have no idea, it's very fluid like, and it's just, we don't know what's really going to happen?
Unfortunately, I don't have the best answer for you there either. We don't know that either. They have given no timeline at all to the boards that have been taken over. There have been boards that have been taken over in the past. This is not the first time that this has ever happened. There have been boards that have taken over by the ministry and they have gotten it back. Sometimes it's taken a year, a couple of years, but the trustees have gotten it back. Or they haven't always been taken over, but a supervisor has come in to assist with things. But yeah, the role of the supervisor is to come in and review the budget and make sure, just check all the governance things. And then they would make recommendations to the minister from there. So far, we haven't really seen too many changes with a lot of the boards that have been taken over, although we did see with one board a very, very large change that kind of came as a surprise to a lot of people. Their director of education was replaced. So the director of education is hired by the board of trustees. The board of trustees have one employee, and that's the director of education. So we hire the director, we assess the director, and we communicate with them. And then the director is the boss of everybody else, in charge of the rest of the staff, basically, right? So when a supervisor comes in and removes the director, that's a very big decision as well. So that is really one of the only things that we've seen them do so far. Any other questions? Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Is there anything is there anything we can do aside from being on the parent involvement committee, but just as a parent in the community? Like, I mean, I watch all that stuff just because I'm very involved with everything that goes on in education. And when I found that out, I'd like lost my marbles, because to me, it can happen at any time for any board, for any member, with basically because I sneezed out my ear. Like, that's what it says to me. So is there anything we can do as a community, as constituents with our MPPs, to kind of help combat any of this or send our dislike?
That is a very wonderful question, Nisha. Thank you for asking. So that kind of brings me to what else I wanted to talk about. So there are a couple of things you can do. So first of all, you can contact your local MPP. Absolutely. I have spoken to my MPP. I watched Question Period last week in the legislature when the bill was passing, and the Minister of Education talked about another board and about what their trustee remuneration was. And it was $1.3 million for their 12 trustees, and their expenses were $444,000 for 12 trustees. So that was in a different board than ours. So just by contrast, I want to tell you, we have the same amount of trustees as that board. Our total trustee remuneration is $213,000 compared to the 1.3 million. And our expenses last year totaled $56,410 compared to the $444,000. I also would really like to note that the biggest trustee expense is mileage. Our board is 1,000 square kilometers larger than this other board. So to me, our expenses would be higher than this other board, and they're significantly lower. So I am not saying that there are not boards that are maybe making mistakes. There are boards that are maybe needing to be looked at. Maybe that is the case. So, but the Simcoe Candy District School Board, as far as I'm concerned, is not one of those. So those numbers were a very specific conversation that I had with my MPP, and he was very interested to hear those numbers and really talked about the relationship that him and I had built as trustee MPP, and talked about the importance of that local government. So he was very supportive. And I think the more people that our MPPs hear from, the more it's going to help us, for sure. Another thing that you could do as a PIC, as you are a committee of the board that is a ministry required committee. So you could pass a motion to write a letter to the minister or anybody that you feel necessary. So that is something that is within your purview if that was something you wanted to do. And you could also pass this information on to your school councils to make sure that people know about what's happening, and also just let them know that they could contact their MPP also and share their opinion on this as well.
Can you quickly repeat those numbers, the 1.2 mil compared to, and then the 400,000 compared to?
Yes, sure. So again, I will preface this by saying this is what the Minister of Education said in question period. I didn't look up the numbers of the other board to make sure they were correct. Numbers that I hear in the media and numbers that I hear politicians say are not always correct. I do promise you the numbers from the SCDSB are correct. So their trustee remuneration that was listed was $1.3 million. Ours in our board is $213,000. Their expenses were $444,000. Our expenses in our board last year were $56,410.
And the same amount of trustees.
And we have the same amount of trustees, and our board is 1,000 square kilometers larger. So a lot more to drive through. Does anyone else have any other questions? Be happy to answer. Okay.
Are we as a board nervous or anxious that this could happen? Because I don't know, I just feel like once the government passes something like this, I feel like that's what they just want. They just want to wipe the ball out.
So I'll let my other trustees, I don't want to speak for anybody, but I'll let my other trustee colleagues speak for themselves as well. I will say, yeah, I'm very nervous. I am terrified. I'm watching the news all the time. I feel like I am going to see if I still am a trustee I'm going to find out by some random tweet, a random afternoon one day is what I am terrified of. I do see nodding along from my fellow trustees. I think we have discussed this at the board table, and I do think we all are nervous. I know we all have talked about that. We really think the importance of trustees having us and having that local voice. There's a big difference in having your local trustees make decisions for your board and somebody from Queen's Park making those decisions, right? So I think it's a big difference there. Oh, sorry, Trustee Grummett, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
I was just going to echo you, Brandy, that I think I am nervous as well. And I just have such a hard time believing that one person could be the voice of so many parents. I think about, the people in the community that I support and advocate for, every day or every week. And I just think, how is that one person going to do that? But I don't know what else. I mean, Brandy's been great at advocating, and we've been connecting with our MPPs as well. So anything you can do or say would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure I can give, if we're finished with Brandy, I don't want Brandy to go yet. You're going to stay, Brandy, for a second?
Yep, I'm going to stay.
So are there any other questions about?
Okay, I thank you for your time. I'll turn things back over to my trustee colleagues for your regular updates, but thank you for listening to me. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions later on, you can feel free to email me. I'll drop my email in the chat there, and you can feel free to email me at any time whatsoever. Okay?
Thank you so much, Chairperson Rafiq. And to our trustees, Grummett and Connors, is there any updates from you guys?
I just wanted, through the chair to our committee, I just wanted to congratulate Trustee Rafiq. We recently had our organizational meeting last week. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. And Trustee Rafiq was our new board chair. And our new, returning vice person is Trustee Strawn. So we had that change. So congratulations, and very happy to have Trustee Rafiq. She's a passionate and an incredible voice who really has no limits to how much she'll advocate for lots of different areas. So we're very lucky to have her as our chairperson. So I wanted to congratulate her and let everyone know.
Thank you.
I don't know if Trustee Connors had anything she wanted to add.
No.
No.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much. All right, and now we're going to superintendent updates. So Superintendent Stolowski, any updates for tonight?
Yes, the school year calendar will be coming out to families shortly. It will also be included in the newsletter that families do receive. So please look out for that email. That will provide you with a link so that you can provide your feedback. The minister, so there's a couple of things that we cannot move, and The proposed winter break begins on December 21, 2026 and ends on February, or sorry, not February. That would be a very long break, but it goes from Monday, December 21st, 2026 and ends on Friday, January 1st, 2027. And the March break begins on Monday, March 15th, 2027 and ends on Friday, March 29th. So again, the proposed calendar will be coming out to everybody shortly, and there will be a link available on our website as well as in the newsletter that goes out to parents. And
Sorry, did you say March 15th to March 29th?
29th? Yeah, I was about to confirm that.
Yeah, Monday, March.
That's 2 weeks.
Oh, that's 2 weeks. There's a typo somewhere there.
Maybe the 19th?
I believe, yes, it could be the 19th, sorry.
Friday, March 19th, because the 29th is a Monday that year.
Yes, so the 19th. I'm all about extending those holidays.
You are.
I see that.
Anyways, each year, grade 2 students in the city of Barrie receive a copy of Andy and Elmer's Apple Dumpling Adventure, thanks to a donation by the Rotary Club of Barrie. This is the 10th year anniversary of the TD Rotary Book Club, and this initiative aligns with our SCDSB commitment to supporting literacy, developing community partnerships, and character education. Over the past 10 years, the Rotary Club has donated approximately 10,000 books to SCDSB students, and I do believe that that is an incredible thing that they do, and we continue to partner with them every single year. And that is it for my updates. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we're moving on to the principal updates. So Principal Cook with the elementary school updates.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I unfortunately had to send my regrets back in September as I had my open house, school open house the same night as our first PIC meeting. So my apologies that I was not able to be at that first meeting of the year and to meet some new faces I see on the screen. I appreciate you having me tonight. I am the principal of Shanty Bay Public School, and there's been some wonderful things happening across the county over the months of October and November. We started the year strong with lots of field trips. I know one of the presentations tonight where we were talking about the community apps portal said there was 1,900 and some odd events that have been planned. So that's fantastic. So we had field trips to the Skilled Trades Career Expo, for example. It was held near Thornton and also in Mississauga. That was an opportunity for our intermediate students to explore a variety of skilled trades. These opportunities are part of the SCDSB Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. We also had fall Acadian screening that took place for our K-2 students. Acadian screening in Ontario is a quick research-based check for students' early reading skills that helps teachers identify strengths and needs and where they can provide targeted literacy support. We sent home our Term 1 IEPs following Thanksgiving weekend. Some of our elementary schools participated in a primary fun run that was hosted on October 17th at the Education Center. It was a great day for those who attended. We had fall school bus evacuation training that took place during the week of October 20th for all students who take a school bus to and from home. We've had 2 elementary professional activity days on October 24th and the 14th, where staff participated in their schools in a series of professional development sessions that were focused on anti-Black racism, anti-Semitism, anti-bullying and violence prevention, as well as artificial intelligence. We sent home our progress reports at the end of October and hosted student-led conferences the week of November 10th. In November, we also held Remembrance Day assemblies across our schools. Some of our students attended local Remembrance Day ceremonies in the community. We also acknowledged Indigenous Veterans Day on November 8th. We had Bullying Awareness and Prevention Week that took place between November 13th and 17th. This year, our bully prevention and awareness focus has shifted to an understanding on why bullying happens by looking at empathy, equity, and the self-regulation needs that may drive these behaviors. So we are aiming to proactively support student well-being and explicitly teach empathy rather than just simply reacting to bullying incidents. Right now, most schools are preparing for gifted screening. That is for all grade 3 students, as well as other students who may have been nominated by their parents, guardians, or teachers in grade 4 to 8. Our screening should all be completed before the winter break. Many schools right now are also preparing for our December holiday events. These events typically include opportunities for our families to connect with their school community and celebrate the many traditions that occur throughout the months of December and January. We've had school dental screenings and grade 7 immunizations taking place in elementary schools this fall. And lastly, our grade 9 transition visits have continued to occur across the county for our students that will be entering grade 9 in the fall. In terms of elementary sports updates, at the end of October, our intermediate students participated in co-ed flag football regional and county tournaments. Minising Central won the big trophy at the county tournament. During the month of November, our junior and intermediate boys volleyball, junior girls volleyball, and intermediate girls basketball teams have been running. Zones tournaments are occurring this week and next week, and regional and county tournaments are also occurring over the next 2 weeks. And our sports will then start again in February following the winter break for term 2. For a few things to highlight. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that update. And now we're going to go to social media highlights. So Jamie Campbell, Assistant Manager of Communications, will share some social media highlights with us.
Perfect. It's a long one this time, so bear with me. The SCDSB's Parent Involvement Committee met tonight. Here are some highlights from the meeting. Don Stevens, Director of Education, spoke to the Director's performance appraisal. Kristen Fennell, Superintendent of Education, and John Novakovich, District Math Facilitator, shared how the SCDSB is supporting student learning in math. Families are invited to engage in math activities through scudsby.on.ca/math at home and attend a family math night in February. More information will be shared on the SCDSB website. SCDSB staff spoke to the tools used for managing school events and field trips. Don Franks, mental health leader, shared about Healthy Choices learning modules developed by School Mental Health Ontario. And Brandy Rafiq, chairperson of the board, provided an overview of the role of trustees and spoke to Bill 33. Learn more about the Parent Involvement Committee and a link to the page. So that will be the update that we share on the board socials. And after the meeting, if everyone could go on there and share that, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Jamie. Correspondence, there's no correspondence for this meeting. Other matters, are there any other matters from members that want to be discussed? Nope. Okay, and are there any notices of motions for our next meeting? Nope. Okay, so adjournment with no further discussion. I would like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:22. Can I get a mover and a seconder? So Catherine, and I don't see anybody else. Terilyn, perfect. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. I appreciate your patience with me as well, and have a good night.
Thanks.
Have a good night,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Good night.